South African artists and the creative workers have long been part of the global community. And this year, Market Theatre has got big plans of making sure that South African artistry and creativity are taken into their diaspora. I spoke to James Ngcobo, the artistic director of the Market Theatre. The Market Theatre turns 40 this year and, true to its established reputation, has lined up a host of exciting productions. There will be a link-up with the American Black History Month, the questioning celebrating the Black experience in the United States, and this will be performed by play reading in public spaces, apprenticeships, mentoring programs for young playwrights and directors, the full range of theatre programming. James Ngcobo, the Market Theatre's artistic director, is the man responsible for all of these programs, and he joins us to tell us a bit more. James, pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Richard.
And let me tell you, you've done a fantastic job over the past few years that you've been at the Market Theatre, and I must give you the compliments. Now that you have established that the capability is there and things can always improve, what do you have in store for us in 2016?
Well, I believe a theatre has to go out of its way to make sure that it's always surprising and exciting audiences. And for me, when I started at the Market, I had a lot of humility about the fact that the Market Theatre has a lot of great history and a great legacy that the Market has been about all these years. But I keep saying to my team, for us who are the present custodians of the Market Theatre, we can't sit back and bask on that glory. We need to take this vision further. And so this is what has been happening at the Market. There's been a lot of visibility in terms of works that are talking to a continental curiosity. I've been directing plays by Wallace Soyinka. I did a production called Sunjata, which is a story that a lot of people don't know that is a story that Lion King is based on. Lion King, as we know it, is an adaptation of a story from Mali from the 13th century about a man called Sundiata. And the American content, we've done George C. Wolfe's The Colored Museum. We've done James Baldwin's Emin Corner, and now we're doing a Raisin in the Sun. Being an actor myself, I always believe that I don't want to adapt these plays. I want the actors to be in this place like a Raisin in the Sun. We're doing it with Chicago accents, because that is how you grow actors. And I believe an actor needs to have an opportunity to play somebody completely removed from them. And so when asked by people, they say, why don't you adapt these plays? And I said, no, we need to challenge our actors to get into that dialect. I mean, and from day one, sitting in the rehearsal room, I would talk to them about the lilt that you get in the Midwest accent that is very much based on the Southern accent, because in the late 1940s, after the Great Depression, in the 1930s, Chicago developed steel mills and rubber plantations. A lot of people came from the South to move to Chicago, and it gives it, and that is why in the middle of America, there's just this black spot that is Chicago and Illinois. And so we sit with the actors and talk about the history and what was going on at that time. And what was quite fascinating about this play, in terms of racial tension, the things that she questioned 50 years ago, you realize they're still happening in America. And there are moments when you're watching this play where it feels like it was written for South Africa 2 months ago, where it looks into the racial tension that she dissected in the play. It resonates so much to what is happening in this country. And the moments when she talks about post-democracy looting, when the colonizers are gone, and then you get people who come in. And there's a beautiful line where the one girl says to the one character, you still feel you can fix the ills of colonialism with the independence and the penicillin that it comes with.
Now, James, tell me a bit more about your relationship with the American Black History Month. I can see that you have immersed yourself into the theatrical productions from there, and clearly you've got good relationships with them. But how did you develop this relationship? How does it work?
Well, it's again a curiosity about a black narrative, you know, from the diaspora. And when the Ambassador Patrick Gasper came to South Africa, we've had an amazing relationship between the Market Theatre Foundation and the American Embassy, because these stories that we are curating for them, they see, for the embassy, this is part of international mission. And so as the Market Theatre, I mean, the Market Theatre is viewed as the national theatre of South Africa. The second you leave this country, people view the Market Theatre as that. And so it's Black History Month. It is stories from the continent. Like I was talking to my team about the fact that next year we're going to celebrate the 60 years of the independence of Ghana. And what happened last year, the office of the Minister Ngcobo Mashabane, they commissioned the Market Theatre for the AU Summit. We wrote a piece that was performed for the presidents that came here for the AU Summit. On the night when it was performed, we told the story in 11 languages from the continent. You know, and the South African languages we chose was Shivenda and Setswana, and then we had Honda, Bemba, Swahili, Lingala, Portuguese, English, French, and I worked with actors from Cameroon, from Nigeria, from Malawi, and for me it was just quite exciting that I wrote a piece in English. And then comes in an actor from Cameroon, and I say to them, how do you pick this up as somebody from Cameroon and make lovely sense and you know, so it was fun.
Yeah, and I also pick up from parts of what you told me even before the interview, that you are globalizing, so to speak, you know, going into the diaspora, picking up work from there and collaborating with other artists from the different parts of the world who have African connections. Let's come closer to home now. This is the 40th anniversary of the June 16 youth uprising in the country, and that has got major significance. Any work that is in production to celebrate the year?
Next week I'm auditioning a whole lot of actors because we're staging a piece called the June 16 Monologues, and it's about characters in different parts of the world recollecting where they were when June 16 happened. I mean, like I'll tell you, one of the stories will be performed by a young actress who is waiting in Grace Street on the 16th of June for a boy that she's going to have lunch with on a date, and he never pitches, and you discover at the end of the monologue he was one of the people who was shot. And one of the stories is going to be told by a young boy who's going to say, I wasn't even around when it happened. This is my grandmother's version of it. And so what it does, it takes this iconic day that our whole struggle suddenly was pivoting around June 16 and make it quite personal. You know, and so we're staging that at the market on the 15th of June. The next week on the 22nd of June, we're performing it in Maputo. You know, and so we will definitely, because the Market Theatre was opened on the 12th of June, 1976, and 4 days later was June 16.
And Market has been home to many top artists, South African, and has attracted international stars as well. But it's based in Joburg, you see, and there's got to be Joburg flavors all over the place throughout the year's program. And you've tried a whole range of things. That's what we said at the beginning, and it's the experience of the Market Theatre, be it drama, musicals, you name it, the monologues. What is it that is going to be the flavor for you for the year that tells us you indeed are in Joburg and this is the Market Theatre?
Yeah, well, around music, in April, as part of the World International Jazz Day, we're going to have a lecture on Kipi Moeketsi, and we've managed to score a band of young musicians who are doing their masters at Wits, and they will play. We're going to celebrate Professor Kabi Mngoma and the wonders that he did in that room called number 2 in Soweto, in Deep Kloof. And then at the end of the year, we're working on a production called Masegela, and I'm working with Brayu now to tell. I've read Still Grazing for the 4th time now, and it's a mammoth task, and I'm spending time with him now, just trying to find a way of how do we take the story that audiences know very well and tell it to them. So we're going to celebrate. It's one of our seminal works. It's going to be a musical called Masagela towards the end of the year. We've just had Matsimela Managa, who was a writer, who was raised in Mfulo in Soweto. We did his piece called Igoli, and the pertinence of the work was absolutely amazing. If you look at the Zamazamas, you look at the Marikana, and so I always say to people, we can look at a work and say it's an old piece, but if a piece is still talking and has somehow, it has synchronicity with the breath that we're breathing in contemporary times, it's not old.
Yeah, well, the energy is there, as you can tell. James Ngcobo, fantastic work you're doing at the Market Theatre. And of course, there are too many stories to tell. We'll never finish them. So you will be back here, most definitely, as we progress into the year. Much appreciated that you came to spend time with us here and excite us about the Market Theatre. Turning 40 years this year, and of course, the 40th anniversary of June 16 youth uprisings in the country. Very exciting programming lineup for the year.